Hey there everybody, this is Dirt Bike Channel. I'm your host Kyle Brotherson, and today we're going to be talking about the Nihilo Concepts SOS backup start switch. Stick around. Before I get too far into this, I just want to mention I bought these backup start switches from Rocky Mountain ATV. I buy pretty much all my stuff from Rocky Mountain ATV, and if you use the links down in the video description, my links, it would help support Dirt Bike Channel. Now, unfortunately, this backup start switch is $79.99 and it's temporarily out of stock on Rocky Mountain ATV until sometime in March. But it is a fantastic product, and I would recommend that you buy it from Rocky Mountain ATV when it comes back in stock and use my links. So if you're like me, your dirt bike may be carrying you a long, long way from civilization where it would be a very long walk back to the truck if you have a catastrophic failure. And while most of the dirt bikes out there I think are built very, very well, a lot of them are now coming without backup kickstarters. And for most of the time, this isn't a problem because electric start, I've actually never had the actual electric start motor fail, but I have had some battery failures. I've seen some battery failures, and I've seen some switches, some electric start switches become completely broken off the bike. If you've ever done a loop out kind of like this one, or maybe a loop out more like this one, or even something kind of like this one, you'll see that actually breaking your electric start switch off the bike, or even just pulling the wires out from like a branch or something, is a total possibility.
I got her!
In those shots I showed you, I didn't actually break off my electric start switch, but I've seen it happen to people on the trail in similar situations. It could also the wires could get torn out of that thing, and it's very hard to start your electric start bike with no backup Kickstarter if the switch is completely destroyed. Yes, there are a few hack things you can do, but imagine if you installed this product beforehand so that you had a backup way to start the bike, like right in here. Check this out. Boom. Essentially, this part is basically just insurance in case you break off or have some other damage happen to your OEM start switch. Now, I want to mention that this is a very easy plug-and-play item that you can buy. Yes, it's $70, and you could do this cheaper. You can actually just buy an OEM start switch and wire it up maybe right down here on the frame, but then it's not actually waterproof. You kind of have to, jimmy rig it a little bit to make sure it's waterproof. The Nihilo Concepts SOS start switch that we're talking about here comes with everything you need. It's plug and play. So you kind of have to just ask yourself, do I want to spend a little bit more money and get this start switch, which is easy, or do I want to save some money and spend a little bit more time finding the connectors and trying to waterproof this as much as I can? Let's take a look at how this thing is installed. You take your starter relay switch out. I took my ECU off for a little bit more room, and then you pop this thing off the keepers here. And what we're looking for is this blue wire with the red tracer stripe. Go ahead and put this little connector thing on here. This is gonna splice in right here, this cool little connector. So that should splice into the wire there. Just make sure that's tight, and then I can splice the other side of this. Now I take this guy, take the back side of this off, and then thread this together. Okay, then I'm just going to tape this area up a little bit here. Okay, so I've got this taped up just a little bit to keep some moisture out, and I'm going to stuff this back down inside here. Make things look pretty here in just a second, but I'll put the starter relay back. Okay, then we install our neutral up here on the battery terminal, and then we'll just double check to see if this turns it over. Hit our switch, and it does. So that works. Now we'll just install this guy. So after tinkering around with a few places here and then up on the frame, up kind of by the forks, I decided that I would put my backup starter right there, and that will put this right behind here. And so now there you have it. Here's my Nihilo backup starter switch right back here underneath the seat. Super cool little location for that. So you can install this wherever you want on the bike. I chose the positions right down here, right kind of on the side of the airbox, and I did it in slightly different variations of the same location on one bike. This one is a little bit harder to see than it is on my 250XC, but I will say that the 3M tape that they used is generally very good, and I tried to clean off the surface as good as I could on the one bike, but it's already popped off on my one bike. I'm gonna have to put on a little bit more of that 3M tape, but it's something that you can totally do. I'll just need to reapply the 3M tape to get it to stick back onto the spot I want it. Let's just talk a little bit about my three-pronged approach for making sure that these bikes are going to get me back to the truck because I don't have a backup kickstart. And I have chosen this three-pronged thing because I think that KTM is probably just one like motor variation away from taking this entire backup kickstart option away from us. So I'm using a three-pronged approach. Number one, I'm making sure that the bikes have a capacitor in them so that they will bump start on a dead battery. The XCW bikes, you have to buy an extra part for that to actually work. On the XCs, they have a capacitor, so that's taken care of. Number two is I'm making sure I have a good quality, well-maintained battery in the bike. On my hard enduro bikes, I'm putting a anti-gravity restart battery in the bike because it self-monitors and it will shut itself down if the voltage gets too low before the battery is completely unusable. The third thing I'm doing is I'm putting on some of my bikes these Nihilo Concepts SOS start switches in case I break the switch up there or something else happens, it gets corroded or the wires get pulled out. So I'm using all three of those things as my insurance to be able to get back to the truck in lieu of spending the extra expense and the extra time to get that backup kickstart installed. So I hope this video has been helpful to you. Maybe it's a product that you haven't seen before. I only like to bring products to you that I have used and that I trust and that I like. I paid full price for both of those switches. I try to pay full price for everything that I show you on the channel because I just don't like how it feels if I haven't paid full price for it. It doesn't feel right to me. I don't feel I can give you an honest review and an honest recommendation on that part. So that is my video for today. It's something that I like to do on my bikes. Maybe it's something you might do on some of yours. I don't have it on all the bikes. I've got 5 bikes in this room and only 2 of them have it on. So you have to kind of determine, is this something that you're gonna need? And on 2 of my bikes, I'm saying yes. On the other 3, I decided no. So anyway, that's what I've got for you guys today. Please use my links for Rocky Mountain ATV down in the video description. And until next time, leave a single track. Thanks everybody.